So I get to college wanting to be a nurse, taking nursing prerequisites, right? Because in high school, I knew I was going to be in the medical field. Why? Because everybody around me was going to school for medical. Family was in medical. People thought I'd be great, being a nurse or being a doctor. They could just see me being a nurse, being a doctor. They could just see me saving lives, right? They could see me walk around with a stethoscope around my neck. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go and be a nurse. Get to college, doing nursing prereqs, probably like 2 years in, and I was like, yeah, I like nursing, but I'm not eat, breathing nursing, right? It's not on my mind 24/7. When I hear it, when I see a hospital, when I see patients, it's not, nothing in me is making me jump for joy. So my mind starts to wonder, is this something I really want to do? Is this fulfilling to me? But I feel like there's something missing. Don't get me wrong, nurse is good, great pay, secure job. We gonna need a nurses. Shout out to all the nurses, thank you. Shout out to all the essential workers. But for me, I was like, I feel like there's something missing, right? I feel like I could be more. I feel like that there is more. Mine starts to wonder, so I think. And it goes back to 10 years prior when I was in middle school, high school, how I had a love for the arts, how I had a love for business, right? I thought I was going to be this great business owner. I thought I was going to be in entertainment somewhere. And I remember just those thoughts was making me fulfill, like bringing fulfillment to me. So I just started to think like, what is it that I'm really supposed to do? Right? So whenever you find yourself questioning what you're doing, questioning if you really love it, start thinking, is this something I'm supposed to do, or is this what I want to do? Because you could be doing something 10, 20 years, it's a good living, taking care of the family, taking care of the bills, and you thinking that it's it, and it's routine. It's not it. And then you get tired with the routine, and you're like, this can't be life. Anyway, so I go on this journey trying to find out what's my purpose, right? So I'm going to give you a little secret. The 10, 20 years ago, prior stuff that I like to do, I was actually called to do it, but I didn't want to do it. I want to do my own thing, right? Left school, doing jobs here and there. We're not going to talk about how many jobs I had, but left school, doing other things, knowing that I was called to do something else. One of the funny things about, there's this story in the Bible, and it's so funny because people think that the Bible has expired. It expired, but like relevant stories, yeah, no, it's still alive today, right? So there's a story in the Bible with Jonah. Jonah was called to do something he didn't want to do. You got to look up the rest of the story, right? Jonah was called, he didn't want to do something. He told God, you got to find somebody else. And I was like, I can relate to him. I understand where he's coming from, because I don't want to do what you call me to do. Well, it's not that simple, because see, when you have a purpose, meaning when you have a reason to be here, because the purpose is a reason that something exists. Let me make it easier. It's a reason why someone exists, right? So don't ever think that you here just to be here. You here for something. And for some of us, we know exactly what we're here for, but we don't want to do it because I ain't got the resources, I ain't got the connections, I can't see myself going far in this. Well, I can see myself going far, I just don't know how. So now you're doing your own thing, because we got free will, we can do whatever we want to do. God ain't gonna make us do nothing. But for some of us, the purpose that he got for us, can't run from that. Anyway, so I started going on this journey about my purpose and what is it that I like to do and stuff that interests me and whatnot. And I'm like, the stuff that interests me is really bigger than what I could think it could be. And I know I can't get there on my own. So maybe I should just stay in my own little box where I'm at because I'm comfortable, right? This is my world, right? I go to work, come home, go to school, come home, go to church, come home. It's routine. You could trace what I'm doing. But when you have a purpose, see, the thing about it is when you have a purpose, when you have, i.e., a calling, especially a God-given purpose, you're not going to rest. You're going to get reminded of that thing. You could be walking down the street and look over and see a billboard and see something that reminds you of what it is that you like, and something on the inside of you be like it just leap on the inside of you, right? Because you're reminded. The reminder talks to you. The reminder is giving you confirmation, letting you know, listen, this really what you're supposed to be, and you can't escape it. You can't escape it. I tried. I ain't gonna lie, some days I still try. But you gonna do this thing, right? Because you were made for a reason. You know you were made for a reason. You know you made to do something great. You know that you have a gift or a skill. When you come on the scene, when you do it, can't nobody do it like you. Can't nobody make it like you. Can't nobody rock it like you. You know that you are meant to do a specific thing. Why are you doing something else? Why are you trying to convince yourself to do something else? You're never going to get fulfillment in that area. It's never going to work out the way that you want it to work out. And in some cases, God probably shut everything down so that way you don't get no success from it, because that's not what you are supposed to be doing. One of the things I found out when I found out what my purpose is, what I'm really supposed to be doing, is that I started questioning myself. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to walk in this thing. But in order to get there, I kind of look at it like there is some things has to go. Some distractions has to go. Some fat has to go, right? So when you got extra weight on you, how far you gonna go? When you get extra weight, what happened? You run a little slower, you get out of breath more, it limits your mobility, right? You can't really go, I can't really run as fast as I want to go because I got all this weight, this baggage that can't go. I gotta start cutting some things so that way I can move freely. So that way I could move swiftly. I could go when I need to go. I can move like when I need to move, right? So it's the same thing, right? With your purpose. You gotta start cutting away some things. You know, women, when we get our hair did, what's the first thing we do after we get that washing set? I gotta clip these ends because this new growth I'm trying to get to come in. You out there gardening, out there cutting up your weeds and stuff. You out there trimming your trees. Why? So that way better things can grow, right? So it's the same with your purpose. You know what your purpose is, right? Just start making moves. Just start cutting away some things. Some things not going to stay. It's okay. It's okay. Now, some people, when they lose that weight, when they get ready to look good, they start to look real fine. They start to look good, right? You're going to start to look good. You're going to start to be able to go further, right? Now you're going to be a little bit more focused on this purpose thing. But this purpose, you cannot run from it. You know what it is. You cannot escape from it. I was listening to a pastor one time, and when I was going back and forth, you know, when I was going back and forth in my mind, like, did I hear right? Because it happens. Like, did I hear right? Give me a sign. Lord, give me a sign to make sure that I heard you right, right? And let me get a confirmation or something. And I remember I was watching this pastor on television, and he said, you know, you have the flame on the inside of you, but it's not that the flame went out. It's just that it went down. What? You know how when you fan the flame, of course, it gets bigger, right? But it's going to be that little burn that's there, right? It's going to be that little, you know, you see the red part, like on charcoal, it be there or whatever. It's still hot. It's still burning. That's how it is on the inside of you. It's burning on the inside of you, but you haven't had no reminders to fan it. But then one day, you be walking down the street, you be minding your business, you be driving your car, or you be, you know, exercising, and it just comes out of nowhere. There's a reminder that links you back to that thing that's on the inside of you, and you're like, what? This sounds familiar. This seems so familiar to me. So for some of us, it's not that the passion went out, probably just went down. You wasn't feeding it. See, we feed our pleasures, right? We feed the thing that's most comfortable to us, but there's no growth in that. There's no growth in the pleasure in your pleasure, right? But you fan this purpose, you feed this purpose, you start seeing some results. You start seeing some doors open up, right? I always say you are who you attract. You love your pleasure, you're going to attract those in your pleasure, right? Who ain't got no purpose like you, pretty much, right? They ain't got no calling like you. They don't have no giftings and no skills like you. They don't care. Let's all sit together. Let's all drink together. Let's all get high together. Let's all skip school together. They ain't got nothing going on, right? But you know, when you get around a certain atmosphere, when you get around certain people, you get around a certain environment, I don't feel right. This don't sit well with me. I'm not comfortable with this. That's that flame coming up. That's that purpose that you're being reminded of, like, yeah, I got something better. Now, everybody hates breakups. I don't know not one person who like breaks up, right? For the most part, people don't like to break up at the other person's convenience, right? But sometimes it's time to break away. Sometimes it's time to go. You got to chase purpose. You got something else on the inside of you, right? You got a work being done inside of you. You got a calling. You got a product, a skill, a gift, a service that we all need, right? There's never a right time. Ain't never gonna be a right time for you to show it. Ain't never gonna be a right. You gotta move. Whether it's physically, but mentally, you gotta move. You know, the world, like I like to say, the world is waiting on you. They're waiting on your gift. You don't know the lives that you're changing. You don't know what fire, you don't know the match that you hold that's igniting that fire in somebody else, that's going to ignite that fire in somebody else.